All right, a quick agenda of what we're going to be talking about, so we are in shape of what we want to achieve. Okay, I'm going to explain to you who I am and what is CODEC. We're going to look at an IVR technology overview in Africa. We're going to see why it's important to have an IVR payment system. We're going to run through architectural overview of an IVR payment system. You're going to have some tips on how to develop an IVR payment system. Then I'm going to run you through an IVR payment system in production. Then more importantly, we're going to talk about security, on how to secure an IVR payment system. And we have some time for some questions. Okay, just a quick question. How many of you have used an IVR system before? Oh, nice. How many of you have dialed into voicemail system? Comedian mail? Everyone. Nice. So there's no point defining what an IVR is. Okay, my name is Kayode Akitunde, the founder and CEO of the CODEC Systems Limited, based in Lagos, Nigeria. I had a university degree in computer science with mathematics. I'm the chief architect of QuickTeller IVR Payment System, a very popular payment system in Nigeria. And you can Skype at me, tweet at me, and then you can also shoot me an email. Okay, CODEC is the name of our company, also based in Lagos, Nigeria. It's an ICT company that specializes in voice solutions. We've been around for 7 years, and within those years, we've created arrays of solutions from IPPBX system to contact center system and to web services and database-driven IVR system. Okay, you can contact us on at gloriasystem.com, and you can also visit us on our website, as you can see. All right, IVR technology overview in Africa. Okay, Africa is still evolving when it comes to technology. And why? Statistics have shown that aside from level of education and poverty, the cost of utilizing technology is still quite high. Most of the time, elites in Nigeria, they tweet, they're on Facebook, they're on WhatsApp, just to say hello to their friends and colleagues or to send pictures around to their family. Okay? Most of the time, the internet you will find in Africa is actually too expensive to afford, or you pay very little to get internet that you cannot do anything with. Okay, Nigeria is a country with over 160 million people, with more than 250 languages, and with over 1,000 dialects in those languages, with over 120 million mobile phone users. And we carry out presently 1 billion payment transactions in a month. All right? Now, when you look at this figure, it's just 10% of these mobile phone users that actually contributes to this 1 billion payment transactions in a month. Meaning 90% of the people are still not transacting electronically. People would rather prefer to take bags of money and take it to a trader, despite all the effort of the government to enforce cashless policy. Okay, so what we have done is that we have effectively utilized Asterisk, working with a payment gateway, to create a system, an IVR payment system, that allows anyone in Nigeria, whichever language you speak, to pay from anywhere, any payment type, using your own language. So we've been able to do what? To cut off the language barrier, and you don't have to be techie savvy to make payments. All right? So why use an IVR for payment? You may argue with me that there are other payment channels, POS is there, online transaction is there, like you guys have it here. But in Nigeria, statistics have shown that over the periods of 2007 to 2012, a lot of people still dash down to the ATM to withdraw cash, to do transactions. Okay? Lots of money still flying around the country despite enforcing the cashless policy. Okay, so what is the advantage, market advantage for Africa? No more internet expensive or inefficient internet to make payment. That's what an IVR payment system has enabled us to do within 2013 and right now. No more language barrier. Payment instruction now possible from anywhere. IVR system don't sleep. Of course, they don't go break, they don't go on vacation. IVR system can be available 24/7. Mobility, customer don't have to call. You know, customer can call in at any time from anywhere to make payment. By replacing manual tasks and services with specific automated instructions, errors are reduced. Like I said before, these people who are dealing with are people that are very ignorant of technology. So when you give them short steps of information, then it's most likely that error will be reduced. Ease of use. Users don't have to be techie savvy. All you need to do is dial a toll-free number and then pay attention, and then you get payment. All right? So what's the market answer for Africa? It requires little or no assistance to make payment with IVR. An IVR system helps the physically challenged. So in other words, someone that is blind can use an IVR to pay. He doesn't need assistance. Okay? Someone that cannot talk but can hear. IVR involves just what? Your fingers and your brain. Okay, you can make payments while doing other stuff. You can be running, you can be dancing, you can be eating, while you can still make payment. Meaning, human being can now multitask while doing payment. Short and direct and precise instruction to make payment, that's what everybody wants. Okay? No phone barrier. I don't have to use an iPhone or a BlackBerry to make payment. I can use the cheapest phone to make payment. All I need to do is dial a short code or a toll-free number, and off I go. It's nearer than near field. You know, just recently Apple has released their Apple Pay, where you have to go to the store to do what? To put your iPhone beside an equipment and pay. But with IVR, your wife can be doing the shopping while you are doing the payment somewhere. All right. Architectural overview of an IVR payment system. Now, there are two architectures that we have implemented right now. One is the on-premise, and while the other is the cloud architecture. On the on-premise, we have our servers in the telecoms, in the payment gateway server room. All the IVR servers are hidden behind the proxy, and anyone that is willing to connect from any of the client, maybe a soft phone, even from a PBX and all that, can connect via the internet to the proxy, and we get them connected to the IVR accordingly. If I may ask, how many of us attend the talk on with Ali P? Ali P, Asterisk, open SIPs with Asterisk. Anyone here? Oh, good. Because that's exactly what we have done. We have actually, hidden all the Asterisk servers behind the proxy so we can have a full control of the client. Okay, also the cloud solution. I was listening to a talk this afternoon about which cloud system to use. It's absolutely very important for you to use that talk. If you missed it, please, in 3 weeks' time, make sure you download it. It is absolutely critical for you to know what cloud service provider to use when you want to deploy an IVR payment system. So this is the architecture that we have followed. Same like the on-premise, we have multiple IVR server sitting behind the proxy and then also connecting the various clients from the internet. Then we're doing our API calls also on the internet back and forth. Okay, so developing and deploying your IVR payment system, what are the steps? Okay, so these are the steps we took that made us successful in deploying this solution. Number one is that design your user experience flow on paper. This is one of the mistakes Asterisk programmers do. because they know the DAO plan so well, they just jump into the DAO plan and then they start coding. Not so with IVR payment. You must put up what you want to do on paper and be sure of where you are going. Determine the number of concurrent calls that you are expecting on the IVR. Very critical. You must know where you are going now, what the customer says he wants, and then you must take an extra mile to know where this is going in the future. Get the hardware required to meet the target number of concurrent users or customers. You know, IVR systems, like I said, they can expand like this. The moment, in our own case in Nigeria, somebody hears that there is something that speaks their own language, even without making any payment, you see them keep calling that server. So you can, you know, get very busy. So you must plan to expand almost immediately. Begin your DAO plan as quickly as possible. It's going to run into millions of code. It's going to run into several lines of code. So you must begin to do what? To code. All right? Don't do your coding on the AGI. Let your AGI run and return external variable. This is very, very critical if you want your IVR to run with speed. Don't forget yourself in AGI. What you need to do is let your AGI runs and let them return channel variables and then use them in the DAO plan and then go. Don't bother about voice prompts. Don't record your voice prompt yet. Use text-to-speech. Buy the licenses. We did Sebstra, very good. Buy those licenses, use them immediately, and when you are done, then you can record your voice prompt. Conduct UAT. Before you do your recording, make sure the client understand what you have done. Make sure they do changes. Make sure they do correction. Run your UAT amongst your colleagues, amongst your staffs before you do your recordings. Okay, carry out soft launch. Don't be in a hurry to go on live because everybody is quick to criticize an IVR system. Did anybody attend Allison, the new rules for IVR? Anyone? Oh, good. Please, if you miss it, wait in 3 weeks' time and download it. Very critical. People are always waiting to say this IVR is bullshit and so on. So don't be in a hurry to go live. Make sure you do a soft launch and spend some time on that before you go live. All right? This is sample of the user flow I'm talking about. This is an example of a toll-free payment that we also implement with this gateway. This is how it flows. We hear a customer calls in, automatically checks his phone number, and then we ask you to recharge 500 naira. 500 naira being a base limit, press 1. To recharge any other amount, press 2. And then you press 1. Okay? We send an API call. They will determine if the API goes successful and you are being recharged, you get an SMS and your credit is there. But if it fails, we tell you otherwise and then you move. Please, this is absolutely very critical. If you are going to do an IVR payment of any sort, write this down and make adjustment as much as possible. Okay? So what are the hardwares we used? For our own setup with this very client, we use an HP server DL380 with 16 gig of RAM, RAID 1, RAID 10, and each of those RAIDs have 300 gig of hard drive. We use Sangoma cards, A104 cards, and we configure with the most recent one-pipe drivers. Okay, we have 2 GSM service providers, one so that they can, fail over between each other, each of them doing 120 simultaneous call. We are planning to expand as much as we can. We have the capability to do SS7 as the request comes in. The Linux that we use for this purpose is CentOS 5.5, running in virtualized Zen mode. We've been able to use this very well to do what? To make sure the IVR system scales. All right. Asterisk version is 1.5.15. LTL is very stable for us at the time that we are deploying. We use PHP 5.3 with PHP core to do the API call back and forth. We were using MySQL before, but we had some challenges. We moved to MariaDB, and we get all of those stuffs that are proprietary with MySQL to run dashboard for people to see how people are calling the IVR. We use OpenShips extensively, everywhere, both in the cloud and even on premise, to make sure that we do a proper SCB solution. He acts as a firewall for us. He doubles down as a registration server, so nobody gets close to the IVR server. That's very critical, so that you don't have people giving people any room to hack your IVR server. API and secure connectivity back and forth from the gateway server was REST. We used the REST API that was returning both JSON and XML. Okay, so like I explained before, what we did in our API, we send command to the API, it returns XML, and then we return channel variables of whatever they return, and then we continue from our data plan. So it's quite quick. Okay, so I'm going to run you through a demo before we move on to the explanation of this demo. It's actually so you can see what we have done. Okay, so here, the demo you are looking at, you can actually dial this right now on your phone, but you will not get anything because it is expected that it's someone in Nigeria that should dial. So if you call now, you will hear things like your phone number is hidden because it doesn't recognize. The first point of security is your MSISDN, which is your caller ID. So it needs that. Okay, so what we have done for these is a state in Nigeria called Plateau State. They speak English and Hausa language. Okay, so I am going to show you what we have done. This makes everyone within the country in that state.
Welcome to Plateau State Inland Revenue Service. To listen in English language, press 1.
Okay, so what that's telling you is that the other one is saying to speak, to use this IVR in Hausa language, press 2.
Press 1.
So I'm going to do 1.
Premium insurance tax, press 1. For your MLA bulk payment, press 2. Enter your tax identification number, followed by the hash key. The tax identification number you entered is 1, 2, 3, 5, 1. Press 1 to confirm, or press enter the amount to be paid, followed by the hash key. The amount you entered is 12,000. Press 1 to confirm, or press 2, you are paying 12,000 Naira. To Plateau State IRS tax account number 1, 2, 3, 5, 1. This transaction costs 100 Naira. Press 1 to confirm, or press 2 to cancel. Please hold.
Okay, so what it does is that at the end, it gives you a summary of what you want to pay for. And then right now, it says, please hold. At this point, it's doing an API call. Okay? If I have an internet right now, it's going to do an API call with those information and return back the number of payment instruments I have. And then it tells me what I want to pay. I choose maybe my MasterCard or credit card. I put in my card information, and then I pay. So that's what it does. Okay? Now, a little explanation of that. I'm done with you. Thank you. Okay, so what it does is that it welcomes you to the service, and then it asks you there are 2 types of tax payments. One is the PIS, IRS tax, and then the other one is the state tax and the federal tax. So he asks you which one you want to pay. You select the one you want to pay, and then it moves you to the next level. He asks you to put in your payment, the amount you want to pay, followed by the hash key. You do that, and then it gives you a summary of what you're about to pay, and then asks you to press 1 or 2, either to continue or to cancel. When you do press 1, and then it goes and retrieves your payment instrument using your MSISDN. So if you are calling with someone else's phone number, nothing happens. It must be your MSISDN. You must be calling from your phone number before you do payment. Okay? So when you do that, it gives you different priorities around your card. Okay? The first priority is if you are calling with if you have what they call VAV PIN. With this gateway company, VAV PIN is an account that is tied to a bank. So all that is required of you is just a PIN. The second priority is if you have a debit card or a credit card. So he asks you just for your CCV2 and your PIN, because he already knows your card number with your MSISDN is already tied to your bank. So he just asks you for CCV2 and your PIN, and off you go. Third priority is what we call eCash. It's like a mobile money. Okay? If you have an eCash with this payment gateway, you can also put in your PIN, and off you go. And then we have the fourth priority, which is what they call Pay at Quick Teller. What Pay at Quick Teller does is that he assumes you don't have any card. So when you do Pay at Quick Teller, it sends you an SMS with a short URL, the normal GOO.gl, and so on. So what that does for you, that it enables you to tap on that URL and then go on a website to also carry out your transaction. So it's moving you away from the IVR if you don't have any card, to also make sure that transaction is being complete. Okay, so these are the flow for all the priorities, A, B, C, D, and then finally, it tells you whether your payment is successful, or it tells you otherwise if your payment is not successful. Okay, so what are the limitations we had using this type of approach, or DAO plan approach? Because like I said, we don't do much in our DAO plan. We allow the AGI to do what? To make the call and return channel variables, and then you allow your payment to flow. So the challenge we had is when a customer call into the IVR and have several payment instruments today, and tomorrow the payment instrument has reduced. So the customer has to wait to hear all of the payment instruments being announced before they choose. Okay? It's a limitation in DAO plan. As we all know, DAO plan does not allow application to be called within an application. You can call a function within an application, but you cannot call an application within an. So we are saying if this can be possible, then we can overcome this challenge. Okay, so I give you an example here. This is going to bring out an error if you try to do a read inside a set. And so these are what we are hoping that will be improved in hopefully Asterisk 13 or beyond. Okay, so securing your IVR payment system. If I may ask, how many of you was in a section of Common Mistake Prevention Method by Phyllis Mullin? Anyone? Wow, just 2. Okay. How many of us was in WHO Fraud Protection and Prevention by Flavio? Wow. Please, all these are prerequisites if you want to build an IVR payment system. Make sure you download all the security sections. Very important. If you want to be successful in this, you must understand all of the security sections in AstriCon. Okay, so follow the best practices guidelines when to secure IVR payment. Change password, double down your security, use extensive IP tables, and double down with fail to ban. Very, very critical. Do not keep log files. Nobody wants you to keep log files when you are doing Asterisk. Okay? This stalled us for more than 8 months on this project. You know, there's a department in this payment gateway company that makes sure they vet our Asterisk server and make sure no PIN or CCV2 is being kept on the server. IVR system in the cloud connected to a SIP trunk, very dangerous, and you are doing an API call. Make sure sensitive card information like CCV2 and PIN are encrypted before you send it back and forth. Okay? When your payment gateway is also doing the same, make sure it's encrypted. Absolutely important. Absolutely. Okay? For all cloud solution, make sure you hide the IVR server like I've shown you in the topology. Make sure your IVR server is being hidden, very critical, so that you do not allow a SIP client to connect your IVR server. It's a flaw. Don't do it. Do not directly connect a SIP client or server to your IVR server. Do that through a proxy. Very, very important. Don't start by checking MSISDN when you call calling. Hackers will take advantage of that. Okay? When you build an IVR payment system, or any IVR payment for that matter, make sure that you ask some questions. Make sure the customer is willing to make payment before you begin to call your API. If you start calling your API as soon as the customer calling, hackers will take advantage of that. So please make sure you do away completely with that. Consistent voice prompt is very important. Make sure that you are consistent with your voice prompt. If you are doing Alison, do Alison all through. If you are doing a local talent, do a local talent all through. The section with Alison, new IVR rule, very important. She states all of that, okay? Because customers are waiting to hear that voice, especially in a country like Nigeria, where you speak their language. So if they don't hear that language, or they don't hear the person they used to hear, it becomes a problem. They may not use it. Very important, okay? Understand that you are the first enemy of this system. Okay, this is where some people make mistakes. And this is why some a company like PayPal and the rest will not want to do business with anyone that is using Asterisk. You have signed an MOU, and you must know that you are the first enemy of this system. If you do things wrong, that's the end. They are always waiting for you to do it right and to do it right the first time. Okay? So what's the future that we're looking at with this system? Okay? In the nearest future, we're going to be building a SIP app. Aside from adding text to speech and the likes, we're going to be bringing out a new SIP app and a POS-like device that will enable people, merchants or anyone, to do what? To make payments using a POS-like device that speaks an IVR in your own language. Okay, we're working to do that, and we have taken steps in doing this, and hopefully in the next AstriCon, I may be coming with some of these devices to show you what we have done in moving this solution forward. Okay? And we also have some similar projects that we're working on using an IVR payment system in Nigeria. We have this third-party authentication system whereby when you want, just like Google will give you a call when you want to open a Google account these days. Anybody aware of that? You're going to get a call. Okay, so what we're doing right now is if you want to complete any transaction online in Nigeria, you are going to get a call. Okay, so this is an ongoing project, also doing an IVR. What it does is that when you hook up to a website of a bank and you are trying to make a payment, after putting that, something they call token, okay, after putting an hardware token, you still get a call that enables you to put in what they call a PIN. What was it called? I think it's called one-time PIN, one-time password. When you put that one-time password, then that transaction goes through. Okay, so this is the architecture we have. We're going to be dealing with a lot of e-commerce and people like Amazon of Nigeria, people like Jumia, like Konga. They're going to be using this authentication system so that we know that it is not machine we are dealing with. We are dealing with human beings. So if you want to carry out, say, in Jumia, for instance, let's say you are shopping and then you want to check out from your basket, you are going to get a call. And then you are going to put in some code. The code might flash in your front, in your web page, and then you get a call and put in that code. So that makes them know that you are a human being, and then they can begin to process your order. Okay? So that pretty much that's what we have. Question time.
Is this person to person or just to pay merchants?
Is it what? Personal what?
Do you pay people with this or do you pay merchants?
If we pay merchants.
Like, do I send the payment to you or do I send the payment to the market?
You send the payment to the payment gateway.
But who's receiving my money?
Every merchant has an interface.
Okay, so it's to merchants.
Yeah, and every merchant can also call into the IVR, put in their merchant code, okay, and then they can know who has paid and who has not paid.
Okay, so if I'm in the market, I need to know the merchant's code so I can type that in.
Sure. For instance, if you are going to deploy this for a store, the store is going to have a payment code. Or after you have done your shopping, they do your calculation, and then a code comes out, and then you can hook up to the IVR, put in that code, and then you pay.
Okay.
So this is what we are hoping that will be happening in the future with an IVR payment. So if you go to maybe a Walmart or a Best Buy, you do your shopping, and it's time for you to pay, IVR payment is an option. All the cashier needs to do is do your calculation, and then it brings out a code. You can hook up to their IVR system, put in that code, and then you pay.
Okay. Great question.
A typical transaction from when the caller makes the call to when everything is completed, how many seconds, minutes does it take?
From our experience, we've seen an average of between 3 and 5 minutes. Between 3 and 5 minutes. Depends on how knowledgeable the customer is and how fast the customer wants to go. But on an average, it's between 3 and 5 minutes on a full-scale payment. But if you are talking about recharging takes less than 10 seconds.
Any other questions?
Is the service active at the moment? You are providing the service in Nigeria?
Sure, it's active. It's running right now.
Okay.
On production.
From when you started, what was the ramp up? I mean, how well was it taken, and where is it now in terms of users?
In terms of users, okay? Right now, there's a learning curve when it comes to IVR. People are beginning to understand that it's safer, it's more convenient for them to use technology. So unlike rushing down to the ATM to withdraw cash, now people with bags of money are now going to the bank to put their money there because there is a system they can call in maybe at night in their own language that they can know what their balance is in the bank or how to move money around. So we've seen a tremendous change in the way people use technology. And we are hoping that within a couple of maybe 4 to 5 years, we're going to see a dramatic change on how cash, we are hoping that these will phase out cash completely from the Nigerian economy. Okay.
One more question. Obviously, Nigeria is a very big country.
Yep.
So do you have multiple, say, Asterisk systems located, or do you have 1 or 2 that are providing all of this service?
Well, presently, with the gateway company we are working with, we have limited the Asterisk server to the on-premise. We have built the IVR payment system in the cloud. So there's no point moving Asterisk servers around because it's only in Lagos, Nigeria, that you have most of the telcos. So, for instance, if you want an SS7, you cannot get an SS7 in a place like Plateau State. It's not as developed as Lagos State. So we'll keep the Asterisk server in Lagos State, do as much configuration as we want, and then we advertise the DID.
We have time for one more quick question. Anybody has one?
You said it takes 3 to 5 minutes, right? I happen to know that the cell phone service in Nigeria can sometimes be flaky. So if a user is like halfway done and then the line cuts off, what happens?
Okay. What we have done to eliminate that problem is that we have also worked out a deal with a service provider in Nigeria. For instance, if you go to Nigeria now and you dial 322 on an Etisalat mobile phone, it's toll-free. So if you spend any amount of time, even if the network is poor and your call gets cut off, you are not getting charged. So between the bank, the switching company, and then the telco, there is an arrangement that allows the customer to make call for toll-free. Okay, you are saying if it cuts off. Yeah. No, the transaction doesn't go through. So long you didn't get to the end where it says, okay. Okay? At the final point. Cuts off. Well, if the payment is successful, like I said, there are two people now, the merchant, the person you are paying, and yourself. You can call the merchant, and the merchant can tell you, because they have an IVR system, they have what they call web pay, where a GUI that shows everyone that is paying via IVR. Okay, so you can find out from them if you successfully made payment, and if not, then you can try again.
Thank you, Cody. That's all the time we got. We only got 5 minutes until the next talk. So
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Everybody give him a hand.
Thank you all. You're welcome.
Thank you.